Hello, I'm going to be talking about The Hunters Hunted. This is a book for the original World of Darkness setting. It originally retailed for $10. This book was the first book in the White Wolf setting of World of Darkness that allowed you to play humans. It gave you stats for them and to play them as hunters. Now, this isn't the same as the Orange Book Hunter that came out several years later. This is a game where you played real humans, not people that necessarily had supernatural powers. You played them and they confronted the vile forces of the World of Darkness, vampires in particular, but also werewolves, wizards, witches, warlocks, and all manner of terrible things that existed out there. The book has a particular piece of artwork that I really like. Let's see if I can see that there. And there with the cross right in their face, which I really like. The book has a number of very interesting NPCs created for immediate insertion into a game. The book has one in particular. Here he is, Kafaya Smith. Let's see if there's any way I can get him in here. Let's see where. There he is. There's a picture of Kafaya Smith there. I really like him. I think the major reason I like him is he looks a lot like one of my now deceased grandfathers. And he's a Puritan. He is a ghoul. And he has a true faith score of 8. Now, anyone that knows much about Numina and true faith as it applies to the original World of Darkness game is going to realize, let me adjust the camera here, that a score of 1 is worth 7 points to create in the beginning, and that's all you can have as a beginning character. Score of 8, true faith, is tremendous. This is a walking miracle, and the Kindred have issued a order that all Kindred are to stay away from him. If you do not, you will be destroyed. Your prince will also be destroyed for failing to do everything he could to prevent this from happening. Certain members, high ranking within the Camarilla, realize that he is a ghoul, and perhaps the most powerful vampire hunter on the planet. So, he's included in there. The book is really the roots for later books like Halls of the Arcanum, like the Inquisition, like Project Twilight, as it details the Center for Disease Control, the FBI, and how to use other government agencies in this book. It has a vampire hunting ghoul biker gang. There's the Youngbloods, originally enough. But that's still a good, interesting idea for incorporating ghouls into a campaign as far as being vampire hunters. And it gives you details for working ghouls as vampire hunters, for working other supernaturals as hunters, for working in people with true faith, people of a tremendous religious, spiritual aspect. And typically, the typical examples of true faith are Christians, but it can be applied, and it does particularly state that, to any religion. It's really the faith of the individual and how that manifests out in dealing with these wicked supernatural menaces. It also has hedge magic, which is very low static magic, and the paths are vaguely similar to how magic is handled in Cthulhu. It's almost, each point is sort of like a spell, not similar to fantasy style spells, but they're not as dark and as repulsive as they are in Cthulhu. But they're fairly weaker. Some of them, if used at higher levels, become fairly strong. There's also psychic phenomena discussed in here, but the book really is about just making humans that exist in the World of Darkness, and this was the first attempt into that. Of course, in the new World of Darkness game, the very base book, the World of Darkness book, goes into making humans and creating that and having them exist and beginning to find out about the true flip side of life, the dark side of it. And this book was the first pioneer for all of that. Hunters Hunted, you can find these on eBay for less than $10 shipped. It's a very cheap, inexpensive book. I really like it. I've used this book many times, and there's some great information in here. With this and the Vampire core book, as there's no base book besides a core book, and the Vampire one works best for this. You can create humans who you can have a lot of fun with in the World of Darkness. The book has some very nice artwork. Has a lot of pre-made hunters for you, and a lot of great adventure ideas, and it talks about the tone and texture and mood that you may want to take in a game like that to really get over the fear and dread of playing a hunter, because there's really nothing scarier than playing a very fragile person that has to confront werewolves and vampires and these sort of things, and you don't really know what their capabilities are. You're not sure, and that makes it all the more scary when you have to really rely on ideas and your thoughts and your wits, because even with weapons, there's a little real advantage you're going to have. You have to play very clever and hope that you survive. And the level of horror that can be in that sort of game is, to me, the height. Some of the best games that I've ever played involve playing hunters with no supernatural powers or very minimal. Maybe a dot of true faith, and being able to experience vicariously through them the dread and terror and suspense of confronting the supernatural and watching the stories unfold. So, again, this is Hunted. Original World of Darkness source book for playing humans, hunting into the supernatural. I highly recommend the book. I give it 7 out of 10, and think you might want to take a look at this.